works for drivers of Uber vehicles and why this is important. Insurance is very important if you're driving professionally as a way of a job because you want to make sure you have enough coverage for yourself. You want to make sure there's enough coverage if there's an accident, and you want to make sure you're covered for things like medical bills if you're hurt or lost wages, or for your vehicle, because if you can't drive, then that's going to not only affect your ability to get around, but it'll affect your ability to make money. One of the key things that's important to know about the Uber insurance, and you'll see this in other rideshare programs, is that it's got multiple phases. And you can see here the first phase is when you're offline or the driver app is off. And right now I'm on the Uber website and they have a page dedicated to the insurance here. So I'm going to walk you through that and explain it. So when you are simply just waiting with the driver app off, you are back to your own personal insurance, whatever that may be. And I would recommend that you have good coverage, not just the basic or minimum coverage, because that might not be enough to protect you, especially if you get hurt by somebody that doesn't have insurance themselves or doesn't have a license, or if their insurance is not enough to cover your lost wages from your inability to work. So you want to make sure that you have enough coverage through your own personal insurance. When you're waiting for a ride or a request, Uber will step in and provide some coverage. This will include third-party liability if your personal auto insurance doesn't apply. $50,000 bodily injury per accident, $100,000 in bodily injury per accident, and $25,000 property damage per accident. One thing that you should know is that this could vary depending on the area that you're in. So, for example, in California, and they mentioned that here, there was a Prop 22 which provides some additional coverage, including accident medical expenses up to $1 million, disability payments up to a certain amount, and survivor benefits up to a certain amount. Another issue that has come up in some of the cases that I've seen is that there's actually no underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage, or there's a dispute about whether there's any coverage through Uber. So what does that mean? And this is the second phase, while you're waiting for a ride request. So what does that mean? That means that while you're there waiting for a ride request, maybe you're driving around or maybe you're parked somewhere, if someone causes a car accident and injures you or disables your car, you're going to be stuck with whatever personal insurance you have and whatever insurance that person may have. And the reality is, in California, the minimum amounts are very low. They could be as low as $15,000 for bodily injury, or $15,000 or zero for underinsured motorist coverage through your own insurance. And oftentimes, and I see this a lot, there's a lot of people driving around that don't have any insurance. So if you get hit by that person, you're stuck with your personal insurance. And if you decided to go with a minimum policy and you're in this phase two, you could be in a lot of trouble. Now here's the phase three. This is when you have a passenger in your vehicle and you're en route to pick them up or during the trip. Now here you can see they have $1 million third-party liability, so it means they cover the other vehicle and the other person that may be involved up to $1 million if you did something wrong or caused the accident. They also have uninsured or underinsured motorist injury or first party injury insurance, and that's what I was referencing below, where you see they'll sometimes provide additional benefits, and then some contingent, comprehensive, and collision coverage. Why this is important: finally, now that while you have a passenger, you have a higher level of uninsured or underinsured motorist bodily injury. And frankly, I think part of this is because they want to protect the passenger more than they want to protect you. That's probably a matter of opinion, you the driver, but that's why that's there. And if you look, there was a little like number 2, and we scroll down, and it says underinsured and underinsured motorist bodily injury limits vary by state. And so that's true. And you can see some further information here. But if you look at some of the information that they have on the website here, they talk about this injury protection, which only occurs on a trip in California, and it's only while you're online or waiting for a trip in California, or on the way to pick up, or on a trip originating in California, and you're not covered when driving your vehicle for personal use. And what I've seen in practical terms is that there is a coverage that'll come in when you're trying to get the uninsured motorist, usually in this third phase, where first you have to show or recover your bodily injury, the medical bills, and your lost wages, and they'll often fight with you quite a bit on those numbers before you even get to the uninsured or underinsured motorist phase, which would cover your pain and suffering and can oftentimes be a much higher number than just what the medical bills are. So this is the basics for the multiple phases for the Uber drivers. I'm sorry, I'm on the delivery side here. For the rideshare drivers, I'll do a separate video for the delivery drivers. A couple key takeaways is that there's 3 phases. The first one, where you don't have the app on, and makes sense, it's all based on your personal insurance. And again, I would recommend you have a good amount of coverage for you. You should speak to an insurance broker, or if you need a referral, let me know. Because again, if your car is damaged or your ability to earn a living as an Uber driver is affected, that could cause a lot of money damages to you, and you want to make sure you can recover for that, especially if someone hits you that doesn't have insurance. And the second phase, when you're waiting for the ride request, you may not have underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage through Uber, and that's an important coverage that you want to get. On the third phase, you're finally going to have some additional coverage, but they're going to make you jump through some hoops. You may want to make sure you have a good health insurance plan or something so that you can get medical treatment while you're waiting for the claims to resolve. And that's pretty much a summary there of the insurance and how it works if you're an Uber driver.